How big of a hurdle will this new Chinese regulation be to a deal?
Well, it seems like it's a pretty dramatic development in a process that's really been mostly driven by the U.S. and by what President Trump wants to happen so far. And ultimately, you wonder how surprising it is that Beijing would want to have some say in the fate of this multi-billion-dollar company. And there's really quite a feeding frenzy for the TikTok U.S. assets at the moment. So it seems like this is maybe an attempt to go more slowly on it. And from what we can tell, the talks are really far from being scuttled, but will continue to go ahead at some level. And I think maybe the participants in the talks are just as surprised by this and just as kind of curious to know what comes next. But it sounds like, from what we can tell, China is keeping a close watch on whatever happens and don't want to leave it just up to the Trump administration.
Was this specifically aimed at the Trump administration, do you think, Roz? At least it sounds like it could kind of push the deadline back for a deal beyond the November elections.
Exactly. Well, Heidi, how many times have we talked in the past weeks and months about U.S.-China tension and efforts that the Trump administration has made against China on any number of fronts? And I suspect that this is kind of part of it, part of China's pushback and wanting to be more in control. And sometimes what the Chinese government seems to do is less overt than what the Trump administration may come out with in tweets and executive orders. But it does seem like they, just want to have a say in this. And when you think about the potential buyers for TikTok's U.S. operations, just massive U.S. household names like Microsoft and Walmart and Oracle. And so, there's quite an interesting dynamic here between the world's two biggest economies. So I think we don't really know exactly what's happening, and I suspect that the principals of these bidders are feeling the heat as well. And supposedly this weekend, ByteDance was going to be actually entering into talks with at least one group of suitors. Whether there was anything done on that, I think we're still to find out.
So, Roz, given all of these issues over TikTok, the tech battle, not to mention trade tensions, whether it's also the South China Sea, up until election time in just about 2 months, is there any opportunity here between the two for a circuit breaker?
Well, I think one thing is that I don't think that most people in the Trump administration, including the president, would want to do anything that really kind of rocks the boat for the stock market. Remember a couple of years ago when the trade war really ramped up and U.S. stocks just fell precipitously, and I think that would not be kind of something that President Trump would want to see just before the election. So that could be the circuit breaker. I think many times you'll hear Trump and some of his deputies talk tougher, but on the side just want to dial back the tension. So I think maybe look for that in the next couple of months.